بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أوحي إلي أنه استمع نفر من الجن فقالوا إنا سمعنا قرآنا عجبا يهدي إلى الرشد فآمنا به ولن نشرك بربنا أحدا وأنه تعالى جد ربنا ما اتخذ صاحبة ولا ولدا وأنه كان يقول سفيهنا على الله شططا وأنا ظننا أن لن تقول الإنس والجن على الله كذبا وأنه كان رجال من الإنس يعوذون برجال من الجن فزادوهم رهقا وأنهم ظنوا كما ظننتم أن لن يبعث الله أحدا وأنا لمسنا السماء فوجدناها ملئت حرسا شديدا وشهبا وأنا كنا نقعد منها مقاعد للسمع فمن يستمع الآن يجد له شهابا رصدا وأنا لا ندري أشر أريد بمن في الأرض أم أراد بهم ربهم رشدا.
All praises belongs to Allah, the Lord of the whole of creation, and the final success belongs to the pious. I testify that none has the right to be worshipped except Allah, the one who sustains and protects the heavens and earths alone without any partners. I testify that Muhammad is his slave, messenger and beloved one. May the peace and blessing of Allah be upon him, his family and all his companions to proceed. The jinn are made from a substance of smokeless fire. In the book of Allah, it mentions وَخَلَقَ الْجَانَ مِنْ مَارِجٍ مِنْ نَارٍ, and he created the jinns from smokeless flame of fire. Chapter 55, verse 15. The verse explains that Allah created the jinns from a substance that is unrecognizable. The definition of jinn refers to that which is concealed and hidden. Al-Jan is the plural of Al-Jinn. Al-Jawhari said Al-Jan is the father of jinn and the plural which is Janeen. If we look at the scientific perspective of smokeless flame of fire, it means a fire or an energy not produced from a simple process of consumption. So for example, when we're talking about smokeless fire, it's a different type of fire that doesn't give off any smoke. In another verse that explains the creation of jinn, Surah Al-Hijr, verse 27, Allah says, وَالْجَانُ خَلَقَنَاهُ مِنْ قَبْلُ مِنْ نَارِ السَّمُومِ, and the jinn we created before from scorching fire. If we take the word scorch instead of scorching, it means in the Cambridge Dictionary to change a colour with dry heat or to burn slightly. Interestingly enough, there are different colours to jinn. Evil jinns are known either to be Ifrit, Marid and Shaitan. These types of jinn particularly choose black. In Shaykh Ibn Taymiyyah's book Majmu'a al-Fatawa, it states that the black dog is the devil among dogs, and that the jinn often appear in the form and also in the form of black cats because the black colour is more able to concentrate devilish powers than other colours, and it concentrates heat. The jinn is one of Allah's creatures or creation, just as Allah has created angels from light, mankind from clay, animals from water and other creatures that Allah has not mentioned to us. The origin or the creation of jinns can be traced back to the first jinn, who was known as Iblis. The name was given to him after he refused the command of Allah because the name Iblis means one who has lost hope. In the case of Iblis, he has lost hope of Allah's mercy, hence why he became known as Iblis. If we look at the story of Adam and Iblis, note that the jinns came before mankind. This is proven by hadith reported by Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu said, 2,000 years before mankind was created, there were jinns on the earth, and they caused corruption on it and shed blood. Then Allah sent against them a troop of angels who beat them and cast them away to islands in the seas. If a person is constantly engaging in major sins and neglecting Allah's command, then his self-image begins to change, whether internally or externally, making him more closer to the devil. Because the evil nature can take over somebody and distance himself from Allah. This can refer to the bad jinns and the bad humans. The end conclusion is that if the jinn or a human is committing sins, let's assume that the jinns have angels recording their deeds. Just as humans have angels recording their deeds, with the two creations, the jinn and human, they have free will, whether to choose to obey Allah or not. The difference between jinn and shaitan are different in character, because there are good jinns and there are bad jinns, just as there are good humans and bad ones. The bad ones amongst the jinn are called shayateen, and shaitans can be humans. Allah says in the Quran, وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَا لِكُلِّ نَبِيٍّ عَدُوَّ الشَّيْطَانِ الْإِنسِ وَالْجِنِّ يُوحِي بَعْضُهُمْ إِلَى بَعْضٍ زُخْرَفَ قَوْلِهِ عُرُورًا وَلَوْ شَاءَ رَبُّكَ مَا فَعَلُوا فَذَرْهُمْ وَمَا يَفْتَرُونَ. We have permitted the enemies of every prophet, humans and jinn devils, to inspire each other fancy words in order to deceive, and had your Lord willed, they would not have done it. You shall disregard them and their fabrications. Quran chapter 6 verse 112. Every person has a qareen assigned to him. نُقَيِّدَ لَهُ الشَّيْطَانُ فَهُوَ لَهُ قَرِينٌ. We appointed for him a devil, and he is to him a companion. Quran chapter 43 verse 36. There is a hadith narrated by Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, similar narrations by Aisha radiallahu anhu. Allah's Messenger said, there is none amongst you with whom is not an attached from amongst the jinn, the devil. They, the companions, said, Allah's Messenger's with you too? Thereupon he said, yes, but Allah has helped me against him, and so I am safe from his hand, and he does not command me but for good. The word qareenun, with its grammatical variation, appears in several places in the Holy Quran. The dictionary meaning of the word is a comrade, a friend, or an associate. Shaitan can be an evil jinn. The word shaitan means being distanced. Since Satan has been distanced from good deeds and has been distanced from Allah's mercy, he is called by his name. What are the characteristics of shaitan or Satan? The first is lying. The second is ignorance. The third is making the truth a lie and make the lie seem truthful. And the fourth is those who keep away from the Quran. Ignorance was the character of Iblis when he refused the command of Allah to prostrate to Adam. وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَاكُمْ ثُمَّ صَوَّرْنَاكُمْ ثُمَّ قُلْنَا لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ اسْجُدُوا لِآدَمَ فَسَجَدُوا إِلَّا إِبْلِيسَ لَمْ يَكُونَ مِنَ السَّاجِدِينَ. And we have certainly created you, O mankind, and given you human forms. Then we said to the angels, prostrate to Adam. So they prostrated except for Iblis. He was not of those who prostrated. Quran chapter 7 verse 11. In another verse, Allah says in the Quran, قَالَ مَا مَنَعَكَ أَلَا تَسْجُدُ إِذَا أَمْرُتُكَ قَالَ أَنَا خَيْرٌ مِّنْهُ خَلَقَنِي مِنْ نَارٍ وَخَلَقَتُهُ مِنْ دِينٍ. And Allah said, what prevented you from prostrating when I commanded you? Satan said, I am better than him. You created me from fire, and I created him from clay. If we take the word ignorance, ignorance and self-admiration was shown by Iblis. We can understand that Iblis was always a jinn and not a fallen angel. The Quran states, Iblis kana min al-jinni. He, Iblis, was one of the jinns. Chapter 18, verse 50. If we look at the phrase human shaitan, the reason why I pointed out this is that the fact that there are jinns that manipulate form. For example, Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, may Allah have mercy upon him, said, the jinn may appear in human or animal form. They may appear in the form of snakes, scorpions, and so on, or in the form of camels, cattle, sheep, horses, and mules, and donkeys, or in the form of birds. If we take the human shaitan, for example, they adopt the devil's tools, meaning that, for example, talking bad about a certain person, when it becomes a habit, it leads to different sins. Therefore, when the individual completes the characteristics of shaitan, you're clearly labeled as a disbeliever, either by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or the angels on of the left shoulder, or the beast that marks either believer or disbeliever on the Day of Judgment. When the individual plays the role of shaitan in society, neglecting Allah's command, then he shapes himself to look like the devil and play the role. When evil takes over the individual, it's hard for that person to try to become righteous. So Allah warns us about shaitan, saying, Inna shaytana lil insani aduwwun mubin. Indeed, shaitan is an open and manifest enemy to mankind. Quran chapter 12, verse 5. There are 3 types of jinn in terms of ability and strength. The Prophet Muhammad said there are 3 types of jinn. Prophet was talking about their ability. He said one type flies through the air, another type consists of snakes and dogs, and the third is based in one place but travels about. In terms of the types of jinns that are categorized into groups, you have the Amir, the resident jinn, used to mean that he is one of those who lives with people, so he lives in houses. Shaitan, used for jinni who is malicious and becomes wicked. Ifrit is one of the strong jinns, and Ifrit is used for a jinni who is stronger and more powerful than shaitan. There are verses in the Quran that mention certain jinns like Ifrit, Marit, and Shaitan. Quran chapter 27 verse 39 mention قال إفريت من الجن, a powerful one from amongst the jinn. The jinn categorized through strength and clan, just as humans are divided into nations. Another verse mentions about Marid. Kullu shaytanun marid, every rebellious devil. So, in conclusion, the jinns are a species similar to humans. They eat, they sleep, and they breed. The only difference between humans and jinn is what they are created from. The Quran and a Hadith explain certain information about the jinn and what we need to know. Indeed, it is Allah who created the jinns, indeed it is Allah who can create anything. Inna Allah ala kulli shay'in qadir. Surely Allah has power over all things.
ولن نشرك بربنا أحدا وأن وأنه تعالى جد ربنا ما اتخذ صاحبة ولا ولدا وأنه كان يقول سفيهنا على الله شططا وأنا ظننا أن لن تقول الإنس والجن على الله كذبا وأنه كان رجال من الإنس يعوذون برجال من الجن فزادوهم رهقا وأنهم ظنوا كما ظننتم أن لن يبعث الله أحدا وأنا لمسنا السماء فوجدناها ملئت حرسا شديدا وشهبا